Well, cool. Let's get started.
Yeah.
I always forget the name of my show. Five with Joel-ATX, guys. I have someone very unique, someone special. His name is Adrian Bustamante. Did I say it right?
Yeah, yeah, that's good.
That was my first take. Go,
Got it.
Joel. Um, Typically, guys, I sit down with some of my favorite streamers on Whatnot. Adrian does not sit down on Whatnot. Am I correct?
I know I used to a long time ago.
Okay.
I tried it for a little bit and then I switched apps. But yeah, I know a lot of people on whatnot, but yeah, I switched apps.
And now you know me, so that's cool.
There you go, another addition.
So where you've seen Adrian is Instagram. That's where I've seen him a while back ago. He is stock in trade. I'll obviously put it on the video so you guys can make sure you follow him. 30,000 followers. Fact check me. Am I right?
Almost there. Yeah, almost there. I'm
Yeah.
tracking it. But yeah, we're just about to crack 30,000, which is mind-boggling to me based on like what I've been doing. So it's great.
I mean, when we meet in a year from now, I wouldn't imagine if you'll be over 100,000. So,
Yeah.
little backstory about Adrian. So, the hobby can get pretty serious and people take it too seriously. And so what I love about Adrian and Stock and Trade is I laugh my ass off twice a day because he posts twice a day and he he does a great job of finding those little idiosyncrasies of the hobby and makes fun of them because people need to make fun of the hobby sometimes and he does a great job. Very clever way to do it. If you've seen his videos, you know exactly what I'm talking about. If you haven't seen his videos, shame on you. Make sure that you're following him. It's fantastic entertainment. And so I did a little digging a while back ago. I think like 2 months ago, Adrian. I was like, oh my gosh, he's an actor. Duh. Because I was like, how is he so good at this? So he's been in the Hansel Gretel movie, Newsroom, Jane the Virgin, Bosch, General Hospital, This Is Us. So how did you? So first of all, that's amazing. And I don't think you. And I was reading your biography. You didn't go through any actual like classical training, correct?
No, no. I honestly, it's always so funny when I tell people, especially that are in the industry. I just fell into it. I had a friend. He introduced me to it. I've always loved TV and movies. I really lucked out early on and like had a couple commercials that I booked as like years ago now. And then I was like, oh, you can make money doing this? This is great. And then
Yeah.
I just kind of went full board into it, which is kind of crazy, but it was young, late 20s me thinking I can just, there's no consequences. I can do anything I want. And it worked out. But there's been highs and there's been lows, but it's been a good run. I really have enjoyed it over the past almost God 16 years now, I think.
Who was your favorite actor as a child?
Oh man, I was one of those kids that was like I was born in the 80s. I grew up watching 90s movies. Arnold Schwarzenegger was like my biggest like a fanboy thing. I loved all that whole situation. So he by
Yeah.
far and like listen, if you're saying actor, it's like it's not everyone's like, yeah, he's not really an actor. I'm like, no, this that was my jam. That was who I
Yeah.
would go to the theater for.
I mean, he never put out a bad movie in the 90s. I
No,
mean,
no.
and then
Hey,
he
hey,
dipped
oh
into
wait, you're
comedies.
getting a surprise guest. My kids are
Oh,
about to head out.
hey,
Casey,
how's it
turn that on.
going? Hey,
Good.
buddy.
Hi. Say hi. This is Bear.
Hi.
Hi, Bear.
Hi.
I'm Joel. Good to meet you.
And this is Ace. Can you turn the lights on, Ace, please? All right, boys. I gotta finish this interview, but say hi and bye, and then have fun at your class, okay?
It wouldn't be, yeah.
All right. Boop, 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 boop. Yeah. Good job. I gotta go. I'm sorry. I love to have you guys in here, but I gotta do this, okay? Bye bye, boys. Love you.
And that's why I love live podcasts. It's the best.
It's always
Um,
the best.
it is. Usually it's my kids, but luckily they're in school right now. I was just gonna say, Schwarzenegger, great answer. You know what I mean? Like he
I
never made a
mean,
bad movie in the 90s.
listen, he was the biggest thing ever. So me growing up then, that's who I wanted to go see.
Did you know that Van Damme was the original Predator?
Yes, I do know that. It was
Isn't that crazy?
crazy. Yeah, to think about that. There's like the one or two pictures of him like in the suit or whatever, and it's hilarious.
And he got fired for being a prima donna. You gotta love
Yeah,
it. Like classic Van Damme. And so Van Damme is like what, 5'8", 5'9". And
yeah,
so then they hired a 6'7", 6'11". I don't
yeah.
know.
Which was a better idea. Like obviously, you
Yeah,
wanted Predator to be bigger than the actual, Schwarzenegger. It made more sense versus, oh man, he
a
could probably
short
just
predator.
beat the hell out of him.
Yeah, anyway, that's a fun fact. Okay, so let's talk about the hobby. And so how
Sure.
did you have 30,000 followers on Instagram. I think you're leveraging obviously your acting skills, but I mean you obviously are very well entrenched in the hobby because you know the ins and outs, you know how to make fun of it in a very funny way. Like so how did that start where you took your acting talents and started creating your Instagram?
So in when I started finally first posting on Instagram about cards and stuff, it was just what a lot of people were doing, showing my cards. I was opening up boxes, I still do, and showing my hits. And then I was like, you know what? I saw people doing some stuff and some skits. I think Nature was doing some skits at the time that I thought were really funny. And I was like, I can do this. I was like, why
Mhm.
don't I just leverage what I'm doing, like you said, and make some stuff? And I did. And then it slowly started picking up the pace in regards to followers and whatnot. Because I was really stuck in this world of like not gaining followers. It was just like a very slow trickle.
Yeah,
And then I started realizing I was like, oh, a lot of people are just dealing with the same nonsense that I'm dealing with when it comes to the hobby. Why don't I just like, throw a little satire into this and see what
yeah,
happens? And since then, it's been great. I think that uh, it's really funny. There's always a fine line between that satire and what people really take a slight offense to, depending on how serious they are in the hobby. And I
yeah.
hope what everyone gets out of anything that I ever post is like, I make fun of it because I deal with it. Like, there's nothing that I post about that I don't. I buy Panini, I buy Tops, I sell, I break, I
You're in the
ship on
trenches with all of
eBay.
us. Yeah, you're
Yeah,
in the
like I'm
trenches.
there with
Yeah.
everyone else, so it's like I'm not making fun of something that I don't do. Like I'm honestly doing it all. So it's been helpful. I think it's in relatable content.
Oh yeah, it's purely organic and it comes from you can tell you're a collector just like all of us. We go through the same painful trials and tribulations of collecting from uh opening up boxes and getting nothing.
Yeah.
It just yeah, it's we've all been there. Um who do you PC? I don't think we talked
I,
about that.
so I'm a big Erling Haaland fan. He's a striker
Oh,
for
sure.
Man City. I watch all sports, and I really got into soccer because of the hobby. I started going in. I wanted to learn more about soccer, so I went into some really cool soccer breaks, um, and met a lot of really great people in the community, and then
Mhm.
fell in love with this gigantic, Norwegian striker. And so I just started piecing all of his stuff because I was like, this guy's really good, and his prices are actually like were relatively strong at the time versus like going to buy, someone at the time like Zion when he was popular or
Sure.
anything like that. So I was like, I'll do this. So now I have this giant Erling Haaland collection, which I'm stupid that I haven't really sold anything because the soccer market has been doing great because of the World Cup, but it's
Of
my
course.
PC, so
Nice. I call him the Dolph Lundgren of soccer. Yeah. I love
truly,
Holland. Yeah.
truly
I was in a weird random leaf break and I got a Cole Palmer auto. I was pretty pumped
nice.
about that.
Yeah, very
Uh,
cool.
do you follow Trike? He's a big
I
soccer guy.
I do. Trike's great. I got a chance to meet him
Yeah.
at the National
Oh, did you
last
really?
year.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he's a good one.
very smart guy. I like him a lot. I think he's very, very personable, very smart. And I like that my people I like to follow online are people that will give you all aspects, good and bad, of the hobby.
Yeah.
I'm very anti everything is roses content of the hobby because I just feel like it's not true. It's just not
Yeah.
it's not as relatable. And I get it, some people just want to keep that good vibe thing going. It's not necessarily a malicious content, but I like people that are honest about making money, losing money, and trikes that way. So
Yeah, I agree. Clever Cubans like that too. I love
yeah.
authenticity. Basically, just keep it real. I mean, if I have to go on YouTube and see Jeff Wilson's stupid face do that again, yeah, I've got no clout in the hobby, so I can make fun of him. But yeah, it's I can't stand like his screen, his thumbnails. Anyway, it doesn't matter. We don't need to talk about him. So you stream on Loop, and so you're a breaker on Loop.
Yeah.
I don't know much about Loop. Tell us a little about that, and what do you enjoy doing breaking there?
Yeah, I was biased. I that was the first besides Whatnot. I went on to Whatnot first. Um, I still have a couple people that I go on to and whatnot, but it wasn't. I found that I'm older. I'm 45. Um, so it just wasn't my jam. Like it was very young. It was very like fast paced, and I wanted
Yeah,
something slower. I wanted more personal boxes. So someone said, "Hey, you should try this app out called Loop." It was a really small community of breakers and a lot of personal boxes. And I was like, oh, this fits me. Since
sure.
then, it's grown a little bit more, and there's more breaks, and there's more singles and things like that, which is perfect. But it was a really strong community of like, in the room, if you have a good room going, you have 20 to 30 people.
Hmm.
And it's great because everyone kind of knows each other. Everyone knows what's going on in each other's lives randomly.
Yeah.
And I really enjoy that. I really enjoy that part of the community in regards to breaking. And I feel like, I feel like I do the best job I can of trying to give back to my people And I'm very known for if you have a crappy box, I'm very fast to give you something for free.
Nice.
Sometimes out of the ordinary in regards to price point, because I open boxes all the time and I get skunked, and I feel like I just want to do for people what I would kind of like occasionally type
So
thing.
it sounds more community driven, right? You
It
have a
is. It
network.
is. They do a
Yeah.
really good job of being more community driven, and it's just because
Nice.
it's smaller. It's like
True.
Whatnot can't do that because they're so big, and that's not something a knock on them. They've done a great
Right.
job. Fanatics the same way. They grew so fast and they did so much work, and they have big breakers on there that
Yeah.
it's hard when there's 100 people in a room to build like the
Agreed.
small community because but everyone's having a good time everywhere. I feel like for the most part, as long as the breakers are doing a good job.
Yeah, I think everyone's got their own niche. I've been doing a little more just looking on eBay Live. I think they've stepped it up. I
Yeah.
remember I checked them out in August of last year and it's very just antiquated, very dodgy, not a lot of streams going on. And over the past couple months, I've been checking back in and it's looking a lot better. I think they're
Yeah.
investing like $200 million into their stream platform this year. And so I see more people, some of the bigger names are going to eBay Live as well. So that'll be interesting.
Yeah, it'll be fun. I think they've done a really good job. I know a couple people that have been hired over there for other purposes for eBay, but hobby related stuff. And they're really good people in the hobby that are entrenched in it. And I think they're getting a lot of good ideas from these people in regards to like how they can tweak things and make things
Yeah,
better for the consumer, which is a big part of it. I feel like I think there needs to be more focus on the consumer and the collector versus just like how fast we can pump out product or how fast we can break a product or something like that. And if you can do that, I think you'll gain a lot more people to stick around.
yeah. I mean, I think the Boston Card Hunter is putting a big magnifying glass on some of the bad out there, and I think that's
Yeah.
good in general. And Whatnot's already responding and doing some rules. I want to get back to your Instagram thing, but I do want to ask, you're the very first breaker I've actually sat down and talked with. So, if someone's getting into breaking,
Yeah.
Adrian, what kind of advice would you have for that?
Man, my advice right now is just be careful. Reason I say be careful is like margins are very small. So if you don't already have a community there that you know what they're going to buy, what they're interested in, or have you already mapped out a way for you to have some sort of um I guess goal in mind of how much money you can make per month versus how much money you're spending. That's
Hmm.
the biggest thing because I know a lot of people that are, they can't get the product from Tops, they can't get the product from Panini because things are selling out, whether it's bots or whatnot. So they go and get the product on the secondary market, whether
Yeah.
it's Dave and Adams, Steel City, wherever, eBay,
Yeah.
and they spend X, but then once they finally get it in their room, they realize, oh wait, people don't want to spend the money so I can make my margin. So then you're
Right.
sitting with this product, and a lot of people I know will then try and just offload it and they lose money. So my just be careful when it comes to purchasing and knowing what your end game is because
Sure.
there's a very fine line if you don't have the people in the room to purchase your products.
Yeah, that's great advice. What do you think you do really well at when it comes to
I
breaking?
I I feel like what I've done really well is people will buy from me because I am just I feel like I create a good environment and a good show.
Mhm.
I'm constantly talking. I know a lot about who's in my room. I know about their personal lives. I know about if there's something that happened, I will make fun of it and we'll all laugh about it.
Yeah.
Um, and I just know what my community wants, and I try and keep my price points at a good level. So if I can't buy a product to give my community a good price point, I just won't buy it. And it's just that is what it is.
Yeah.
Everyone wants everything, but they can go get it somewhere else if they need to, and that's fine with me. But I'm not going to gouge somebody just because somebody wants. I'm going to get 10
Flawless.
boxes of Topps Chrome football. Do I think I'll get any more after that 10? Probably not because the price points will be too high, and
Yep.
I can't stomach charging someone XYZ for a box and having them do poorly on it.
Yeah, I think the cool thing is if you do it right, breaking it's fixed costs, right? You should know what your profit margin is going into it in general. It's funny you brought up tops. I tried 7 times, got close, and said obviously, sold out. So you were able to get 10 boxes?
Randomly. It was just pure
Wow.
stupid luck. I think I was just one of those people that I put it in my cart. It went through and I was sell, purchase, 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 and it's randomly went through. But I was just like, that was the first time in I don't know how long that I was able to purchase something. So I was like, okay, great, I'll take it. I'll take the win. I was like,
I
that
mean,
is what it is.
just imagine from a breaker standpoint, this is going to be one of the biggest hyped event in a long time. Would you
Look,
agree?
it's hard, and part of it is bots, right? Part of it is, the how much allocation these people are getting versus how much product, which I get from a standpoint of it's a good and a bad thing, right? Tops is trying to control who has their product so they can make sure that it's done properly. I
Right.
get that. But at the same time, I think it is taking away from the consumers a little bit about how they can act, how much they can actually buy, or, I know people that can't even get one box. They want to buy
Crazy.
one box of a product they bought for years, and it's tough. And then you go to your LCS, and then the LCS is doing secondary market pricing. And I've heard that at the conference that they're talking that they're aware of it and they're trying to figure out ways to mitigate it. And I hope they do. I hope they can
Yeah.
figure it out, but I don't know. I don't know if they really can. It's all, supply and demand at this point. And how do you tell someone not to sell something at a certain price?
And the truth of the matter is, I'm not going to defend Taos, but they haven't had licensing since 2015, so I'm sure they're a little rusty. And I
Yeah.
think they're going to hopefully they'll have their ear to the ground and learn about what worked and what didn't work with this rollout. But I'm excited to see it. We've all already seen the sneak peeks of a lot of the case hits, the Premier
Yeah.
logo badge. I mean, good Lord, some of these are beautiful. So
Yeah, it looks
let,
great. And I think that's so with my content, that's always what people like we talked about a little bit before was like where people kind of get a little bit of confusion is they're like, "Oh, you're anti-tops." And I'm like, "No, no, 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 no. Not anti-tops.
yeah,
Just anti-bad ideas and and rollouts. Like I love a lot of the Tops products and stuff like that too. And it's like it's always that fine line of it all. But I've also picked my lane. So I think that, there's some people at Tops that don't really agree with some of my content, which I'm fine with. I don't have allocation. I don't have anything like that. So it's not like
right.
I don't have to kiss the ring for any particular reason. So I'm
Kiss the ring.
happy.
I love that. I'm glad you brought us back to the Instagram because I want to talk more about that. One thing I noticed is like if you listen to like Cosmic, he has a good time making fun of
Yeah.
other personalities. Is that something that you would ever do, or do you kind of just like sticking to the hobby?
So I like sticking to the hobby. I've found that people in the hobby have a very thin skin, and
They're
I
very sensitive.
I don't want to I don't ever want to pick on anybody for the most part. I think recently I did something on like Ken Golden and I did something on a couple like breakers, but I didn't put who they were because it's not
Yeah.
my jam. I'll let somebody else do that. But that's always the thing. I think if anything comes up and I can make light of it in a fun way that I think people will not take offense to, I would probably do it without a problem. But I'm not here to make anybody feel bad about themselves. So I think that's always that weird where I draw my line at. I'm like,
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't.
I think
Everyone's
that I
trying
think
to have
that
fun.
Yeah, I think that's good. So, two-part question then, I don't even think they're related. Walk me through the creative process. Like, you're living your life, taking care of your kids, you're happily married, and all of a sudden you think, oh my gosh, what a great idea. And so, like, walk me through that process because you must have notebooks full of ideas.
It's funny. So I've had this question before, and people would think that I have like some crazy process or crazy notebook. And it's honestly, so if something comes up, I'll make a note in my phone or something just so I remember it. And then I record all my stuff usually at the end of the day,
Okay?
at night when the kids are all asleep, and then we post
Sure.
in the morning. If I find something in the middle of the day, I'll do it. But yeah, it's always just the most random thing. Like so yesterday they posted about the Topps Amex card, and I was like, oh yeah, that's weird. And I was like, oh yeah, this will be and I started thinking about it and how I was processing it as a
Yeah.
person. And I was thinking of like the good things as a degenerate opener of boxes sometimes. And I was like, oh yeah, that would be cool. And then I'm like, no, that's a bad idea. So I was like,
Horrible.
oh wait, this is a fun back and forth of why I think this is bad and why people would also possibly think that it's good. So
So,
it usually comes to me like that, where it's like very sudden and very like, oh, I need to get this thing down, and then I record it. And if people think it's funny, great. And if they don't, then we move on.
oh my gosh, the hobby Amex card. So I've been busy with family stuff. I haven't been paying
Oh yeah, you
attention to
didn't
all
hear
the,
about
the
this? Oh
announcements.
man.
There's a video I'm gonna watch right now. Yeah. Well, after this.
Yeah,
Um,
it's a very interesting choice, and I get it from a business standpoint. I'm not sure it'll be the best of options for the
yeah, not
regular
really
consumer.
helping the collector who's already struggling in debt. Oh, good for them, I guess.
Yeah.
So, what would you say? So someone comes up to me and say, "Oh, you make videos, great. What is the one short or what do you call it, the video reel that you're the most proud of that you would say, check this one out?"
Oh
And
man,
I'll post it at the end of this one.
what oh crap, what would it be? You know
You have so
what?
many.
The ones that I'm most proud of are the ones that I do with my wife now, to be honest with you. So she got really into it. She got really excited about some stuff and about doing them with me. And I think that anything that I do with my wife
Yeah.
is really fun. So I find those to be the most fun. There was one where that did really well in particular, and you can use this one if you want, where
Okay.
we it's to a sing-songy thing, and it's basically her and I going back and forth uh, about basically how I got this Pokemon card, and she's asking me how much it's worth, and I said this, and she's like, "Okay, how much did you spend opening the boxes?" And I kind of just I'm throwing that out, like it doesn't matter how much I spent, it's just this,
Yeah.
and it's really fun. I'll forward it to you so you don't have to find it if you're going to use
Okay.
that one, but that's probably the one, some of the ones I'm more proud of, just because they've worked out and she has fun with it, and it's a good time.
I like the wife cameos too. The recent one where you walk in counting your money,
Yeah, it's
and
fun,
all
man.
of a sudden you turn and she's got the money and she's just looking at you counting. Is she an actress too?
No, she's not.
No.
She's not
Okay.
anywhere
Well,
near.
she
I
nailed
didn't
it.
want.
Let her know. She nailed
She
it.
does, and I tell her all the time, "You're doing a great job." Everyone tells her, and I learned really fast that a good way to gain followers is if you can find a way to have women also watch your reels and share your reels. And I was like, "Oh, because there's no women in the hobby,
It's true.
you know, relatively. Like there are women, and there's some doing some really great things." But I was like, "Oh, if you can get women to share your stuff and watch that percentage of female in your insights go up, then you're tending to reach a further audience, which is always
Yeah,
nice."
it's crazy. My most viewed podcast is JJK Sports, and it's
Yeah.
Jay and his fiance Kay. And Kay's way better than Joe, by the way. She steals the show, and everyone knows it. But yeah, that is actually my highest rated and highest viewed show, and I didn't plan it, but it
Yeah.
clearly, I mean, and it's great to see too, you know?
Yeah, yeah. Listen, and I think I misspoke that there's a lot of women in the hobby, but because they're so male dominated, it's the people there tend to be an afterthought, poor, out of poor
Yep.
choosing, and I'm happy to have some sort of fun content for women to feel that is relatable as well, you know.
If you ever go on one now, you'll have to check out Carla 22. She's one of my buddies. She's a breaker and she does an amazing job.
Nice.
And she takes care of her people and
That's
she's
always
kind of
good.
built a really nice community as well. So when you were talking about what you kind of do, it kind of reminds me of what she does as well.
Nice.
Last question. Can you believe it? We're almost done.
Whoa, all right.
Not as painful as you thought, right,
No,
Adrian?
I know this is great.
Yeah, I know. That's the thing is like when I get to the end, I'm like, man, we could just talk for hours. That's the beauty about the
It always
hobby.
works out that way because I think we're all in the same boats, right? Like we all doing the same thing, so we enjoy talking about it. That's why the hobby tends to work out
And
pretty well.
I have no friends in real life that collect. So when I get around a fellow collector, I'm like, let's just talk for hours.
Yeah,
Um,
100%.
what's next for you? You obviously you've got your acting thing going on. You've got a lot of things in Instagram. You're on Loop. You're probably doing a lot of things that I don't know. What's the rest of the year look for you?
So my biggest thing was what I'm trying to do and will get done before the end of the year is I really want to expand the social media aspect of what we're doing. It's already been a big growth in general over the past 12 months, which has been wonderful. But I really want to try out some new content style stuff. And I tell everyone this not for because I don't enjoy the hobby, but I want to grow further outside of just what is the hobby in regards to cards and things like this.
Yep,
So the more people that can see my content in pop culture stuff and sports and all
it
this
actually
different thing,
helps.
it's all connected in
Yeah,
some
yeah,
way, shape, or
it really
form.
is.
And my goal is to hopefully, get as far out of just this umbrella of the hobby as possible, but still keeping the core of what we're doing. So we're working on some higher end content style stuff, some longer form over multiple reels stuff to
Yeah,
hopefully do some stuff. So it'll be fun. Hopefully people will enjoy it, and that's the goal for the rest of 2026.
that's awesome. I'm excited to see it. Obviously, I'm a big fan. Do you have YouTube, by the way? I don't think I've ever seen
I
you on
do have
YouTube.
YouTube, but I need to get better at it. It's one of those things where I've learned that I am very old in regards to not being able to multitask into multiple social medias platforms, and it's a definite hindrance to me. So I have a TikTok, I have an Instagram, I have a YouTube, but my biggest following is on Instagram, and I'm trying to see how I can grow further outside of that world.
But you nailed something before I let you go. The struggle is real. I have the same struggle. Like I'm YouTube pretty much only. Of course, I download them on Spotify too, but I Instagram a little. I signed up for TikTok and I'm just like I'm just too old for TikTok, even though I
Yeah.
should be using it. The
Yeah.
truth of the matter is we don't have enough time in the day to do all the social media channels. So you kind of just like you just double down on the one that just makes sense and that works for you. And if that's Instagram, there you go, right?
Yeah, I think that's where teams come into play as you get bigger and when it makes sense financially is like
Hmm.
I'm got to figure out a way to give somebody some a job to like, hey, your job is to post this for me daily. We'll figure out how to pay for this situation. But yeah, and being dads and having families and other jobs, it's time consuming, like you said.
It
So
is. It
everyone
is.
that's doing this, if you take away anything, give yourself a little bit of grace in regards to not stressing yourself out every day of posting and getting stuff out on all 20 social media platforms.
We'll leave on that note because I love that. And I always remind myself and my friends the hobby is supposed to be fun. And so
100%.
because we need
100.
that reminder sometimes. We take it too seriously. We see some of our friends taking it too seriously. Like the hobby is supposed to be fun. And so you do a great job doing that. Please keep doing what you're doing. I look forward to the two posts a day. Adrian, thank you so much. Have a great day.
Appreciate you, Joel.